Hey everyone, it's me, Lisa, and today I'm coming at you with another video. Today I'm gonna head into the book review of Paris, the memoir, and I can't wait to get into it because there's a lot to say about it. So before heading into the intro, remember that I have written a blog post on it that you will find down below, so if you want to read it, please do, and then come back to the video or watch the video and then read the blog, do whatever you want. But now it's time to get into the review. You will see from my kind of pinkish look that I tried to go into the pink look, which is what Paris Hilton is famous for. All pink, she loves pink, I love pink, so we have something in common. But I went into this book really thinking I'm gonna hate it. I'm gonna read the story of a brat. I'm gonna read the story of someone that was so privileged, they're so out of touch, so completely unrelatable that I'm gonna hate it. I'm gonna hate every single word of it. And I didn't. I actually found it super enjoyable, and I found that the actual story was much more impactful than I could ever have thought of. I think that I have always heard about Paris Hilton, about this icon. She was famous for being famous, and I thought, whoa, this girl has no talent. She's another one of those famous ones that is just famous because she's pretty. And she really didn't fit into the mold that I had created in my mind for her, and that was amazing for me. I found the writing style very refreshing and cool. She explains the story about ADHD diagnosis, her being locked up in one of the reforming facilities for young adults that are not behaving, and being put into those by her parents, and the whole anger that went into that experience, and the whole fear that went into that experience that left her with trauma, and about her persona as a bimbo girl that she has kept up for ages. And I really felt for that person because she's famous, but it's not true that she's as dumb as I made her up to be. And I think that she needs more credit that she was given in my mind. And the overall story made me really see that she understood influencer marketing before it was actually a thing, and she made it her platform with her personality, looks, persona. Everything that she put into it was straight up based off of a business model that she had created. So she created and developed the marketing based around a person and not only a brand. So she became the brand, and she has so many little snippets of wisdom in the whole story about this, and she talks about the famous for being famous into the narrative, and I really think that what she said about that was really impactful. And she also thinks about heavy topics like late pregnancies and the struggles that she went through to actually get pregnant at 40, and the fact that she wasn't getting pregnant and that was what she wanted, and all of the judgment that went through when her photos and information was leaked. And I also felt for that because it's so true what she says, that our society is so quick to judge the victim for having done a thing that they have done without judging the perpetrator as much, which is the person that leaked the information in the first place. And that is the illegal part of the situation. But that is not judged, because if there's something that can be said badly about that person that we already think is bad, we are not ready to question our own beliefs, and we are just attacking the person that actually has a photo of themselves or a video of themselves being leaked, and that is simply what is up with it. And so I really felt that that book knocked me off. It really surprised me how much I felt that she was an actual person and not only a persona. and that underneath all of that makeup, all of that facade, it was actually a person that actually wanted to have a place in society and have her own thing and experience things and get what she loved. And I just think that that was amazing, because I would normally tend to judge people that behave like she described herself behaving, so always partying, always going out, always being the person of the situation. And I have tended to do that in the past, judging people for how they behaved in those situations. And if you are not good in school and not good at this and not good at that, which are the things that we are taught should be good and should be well done, like school, they're not right people and they're not good. But actually that is not necessarily true. And I think that at this point in society especially, school is highly overrated, and I am studying because I love it, but overall people can become incredibly smart and incredibly successful even without being good at school, because they are good at other things that now are equally, if not more important. So I really think that that really confirmed that thought that was rumbling through in my mind, made it different. If I have to compare this book to the Emily Ratajkovski's book, I feel that this one felt a lot more empathetic, and the money is still there, and I feel that that is really something that is common of the two books. Of course, it's privileged people that we're talking about. But what I felt was that in this one, she acknowledges a lot more her position within society and doesn't skim over her privilege, but acknowledges it and kind of goes head into it. And she talks about the inheritance, she talks about everything that's linked to her name, but actually talks also about the fact that because of all the trauma that she experienced and all of the judgment that came with being this person that has inherited all that money, she didn't want to use that money because her name was only linked to a no talent, just lucky kind of girl, and she didn't want it. And I feel that that is so relatable for me, because I feel that I've always been in my life really taken into consideration only for my looks, and I'm not that pretty. I actually think I'm okay, but I've always had this thing that I was always judged because of my looks instead of because of the smart element that I brought to the conversation, the funny element that I brought to the conversation, because everything always boiled down to that. And I always felt like I had to prove myself, and I had to prove to myself that I could be more than just looks. And I feel that she went through exactly the same thing, because especially because she decided to protect herself by embodying this bimbo persona, she actually ended up being kind of trapped in this world where she had to be that bimbo to actually be taken into consideration. She had to be the stupid girl, she had to be the pretty girl, and she couldn't be anything else because people got to know her as that girl and couldn't separate her from that persona that she had created. So overall, I felt that this book made me like her a lot more than I thought possible. And compared to Emily Ratajkowski, as I said, she acknowledges her privilege and really wanted to separate herself from this position of only privilege for the sake of being privileged. So instead of going headfirst into the opportunity of being like, this is my body, this is what I'm gonna use it for, and this is exactly what I'm gonna do, she actually tried, in my opinion, to take a different route. So use all of her talents to kind of combat the backlash that she had from all of the leaked videos, leaked photos, leaked information and stuff that was ruining her career in a very general sense and very true sense. And she kind of tried to stand up for herself and come out as the DJ that she wanted to be, and come out with her own material into the situation and wanting to pursue her family life and her own things despite of everything else that happened to her and the public image that had been created of her. So I think that overall, respect. Like, for me, that's what I thought at the end of the day, that of course she's privileged, but respect, because there has been quite a lot of shit going down in this situation, and I feel that she took it on in a very mature way. Reflecting about it, that's, I think, the main difference between the two books. The situation that they talk about are different, but also similar in the way that, of course, there was the abuse of both women, and they were abused because of different things, because of wanting to profit from them. And I felt that what I didn't find in Emily Ratajkovski's book, you can find the full review up here, by the way, if you want, was maturity. Because I felt, and I say it in the video, that Emily wrote this book still in a place where there wasn't some maturity to look back at those experiences under a light of acceptance and letting go, and having actually grown from those experiences, but actually being still very marked by those experiences and still having some unhealed work to go through. Whereas the difference with this book was that there was that maturity behind the writing, that I found that despite them being in a very similar situation, I found that Paris brought forward this maturity in her writing and her experiences, and how she depicted all of her experiences and the things that have happened to her. Because I found that the fact that only she said that the parents are not to blame is really a thing that I struggled with myself, to think that they had locked her up in these situations that were inescapable and like torture for her, and just left her there, and she was not mad at them in the book. She was actually defending their choices and stuff. I feel that that takes a lot of strength, a lot of maturity, a lot of healing to have happened behind the scenes to actually be able to say something like that. Whereas because of the difference in the situation, I feel that Emily Ratajkowski, unfortunately, was still very much the victim of her situation and what had happened to her. So that, unfortunately, was how I felt the difference between the books, and I felt that Emily ended up appearing a lot more like a spoiled person, narrating her experiences as a spoiled person that didn't acknowledge all of the privilege that she had in being in a situation where things could have happened for her in that way. Whereas here, Paris is a lot more, I know the privilege was there, I took advantage of it, I did this, this and that. And I feel that that's so important to acknowledge, because it's like, not everyone is born in a Hilton, not everyone is born in a rich family, not everyone is born in a place that is so central for social life and actually the very central life of celebrities and stuff. So she has been lucky and she has profited off of it, and I think that she was really smart to do that. So that's what I thought. You can totally disagree with me, and maybe you will, but I actually found that that made a good impression on me, and it really made me feel happy at the end of the book. I felt glad that I've read it, and I felt more close to a person that I maybe hadn't thought that I had nothing in common with, whereas I felt that I had more in common with her than Emily Ratajkowski in terms of experiences and healing from trauma and stuff like that. So I thought that it was a really good book. So would I recommend it? Yes, honestly I would, because I feel that we all need to hear, especially, no, not also especially as women, as people, we all need to hear that what we see is not all of the truth, and that there is a possibility to get back from rock bottom and get back from setbacks that we get. So I really think that that's a book that could really help people in a situation where they're struggling and really make them feel better. I feel that that's the same feeling that I got after I read I'm Glad My Mom Died, which is the memoir by Janet McCurdy, and I felt that that book as well spoke to me very much, and it was perhaps written a little bit better, but the kind of gist of it was like very much something that I could get information from that really was beautiful and useful, and something that made me feel that that person at the other end of the page was actually there as a person and had actually healed from a lot of trauma, and could make me look at my own experiences in a different way and better, and making me grow from it. So that's what I will take away from it. I hope that this review satisfies you, and if it did, please leave a thumb up and go see the blog and subscribe to the channel. And I really hope that I will see you all in the next one.